This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. And we have on the table today several large black powder percussion revolvers. Now these are guns I have worked with in the past, and we have a new gun in the house in the way of a Ruger Old Army, which now sports a 14-inch stainless steel barrel. Why do I build such a gun? Well, to start at the beginning, this is an 1858 Remington revolver, so-called sheriff's model. It's handy for its type, relatively short barrel, 5.5 inches, and it has about the power of the .38 Special. Now, even though it is .44 caliber, the chambers here cannot hold enough powder to really develop more than about .38 Special levels of energy from this short barrel. Now, I have this particular gun loaded with round ball, and what I use it for is a backup gun. If I go out hunting with a single shot muzzle-loading rifle and I kill something or I hit something and I don't quite kill it, I have 6 rapid shots here with the hope of putting enough bullets into that animal to bring it down. Well, it has worked that way twice. I killed a deer at about 40 yards with it. It took several rounds. I fired 5 shots at it. I hit it 3 times, and this was a tiny Georgia island deer, and the bullet made it through the ribs, through the lungs, and lodged on the other side of a deer that weighed about 90 pounds. A small to tiny deer. I've also killed a wild hog with it that weighed about 150 odd pounds with a shot against the side of the skull. Now the bullet did not penetrate the skull, but it did indent it sufficiently to kill the animal. So this is not the gun you want to use to try to hunt an uninjured animal. It's just not quite potent enough. So, when we go out hunting with percussion revolvers as our primary hunting arm, we want a more powerful pistol. Well, we got some. Yeah. This is what I call the Super Walker. What's super about it is that the loading lever here has been changed out to a more modern design and a much more positive retention. On the typical Walker, each time you shot, this lever would fall and tie up the cylinder, which was not good. The second modification was that it now has a black nitride finish, which makes it more corrosion resistant. The third modification, and perhaps the most significant of all, is I have a sight base on it so I can mount various optical sights. And on this pistol right now I have a red dot sight. And in addition, to keep it from plucking caps, there is a pin here to keep the caps retained on the nipples. Otherwise, they would very commonly get plucked and held by the hammer nose and deaden the impact on the subsequent shot, and you would not have it. The gun would not fire. Well, there's no use in having a revolver if you must use it as a single-shot pistol. I have single-shot pistols that are much more powerful than this revolver, for example. Now, with this revolver, I have successfully taken deer. And we do have a video about me actually rebuilding, and we do have videos about me actually building this revolver from a kit and having it nitride finished and going on its hunt on Ossabaw Island. Now, the best projectile I found in this revolver was Kato Ojama's 200 grain bullet. The next revolver here is a Pieta stainless Buffalo revolver. This was imported by Cabela's. They now import a brass frame version, but not this stainless steel version. The stainless steel version is obviously stronger. It does not have quite the cylinder capacity of the Walker, well, not near the cylinder capacity of the Walker, and it is most accurate with round balls. Now, I have killed deer with this gun. I have killed hogs with this gun. The largest hog was 150 pounds, killed one shot. It also killed an 80-pound hog. And a deer that weighed in the range of, perhaps 115 pounds or so. Still, a smallish deer. This is the present modification of my Ruger Old Army. Now, what has been done to it is it now has a 14-inch barrel. It now has a Picatinny rail on it, so I can put a scope mount on it. It also has its chambers deepened a little bit, so I can load a few more grains of powder, and a set of custom Pacma grips. Now, all of this is going to make for a good shooting package. The gun is heavy, it is big, it is bulky, and going to be even more so when I put a scope sight on it. And I'm going to use a scope on this gun because this is going to be my primary hog hunting gun. When I work up the loads with 777 powders here, and Kato Ojama's 255 grain bullet here, I will be able to equal the power of the Colt Walker in a much more durable package. And that's what I'm after here. This will never be a 44 Magnum. It just cannot do that. But it will equal the Walker. And so that's what we're after. In terms of cartridge guns, yeah, this is going to be like shooting a Keith bullet in a 45 long Colt out of a good stout flat top Colt revolver. So that's what this is going to be about. Just to show you the bullets, this is the 255 grain bullet compared to the 200 grain bullet here. Now, when we get around to shooting and chronographing these, we'll talk in great detail about the ballistics of the loads and how they do and how they compare and so on and so on and so on. We have cast bullets. I made up a new lot of bullet lead, and so we cast some 150 bullets, and I've sorted them here by 3 bullet weights. Between the heaviest and the lightest of the good bullets that were cast, there's a 6 grain difference. Now, that makes a significant difference at 50 yards, and it makes a very great difference at 100 yards. So if you're going to shoot cast bullets out of these guns and you want accuracy, yes, you need to sort your bullets by weight. So the next thing we're going to do is actually finish preparing our bullets by lubing them. Then we're going to load up this revolver and take it out and shoot it and chronograph it. The next thing we're going to do is put the scope sight on the gun. It has not arrived yet. Then we're going to load up the revolver with 777, sight in the scope, and then chronograph all of these revolvers so you'll get an idea about exactly how they stack up against each other.